up, everybody? Welcome to my house. It's Justin's house. We are here today. Today is Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. It's our first live stream of April. So excited to be here. And I selfishly took this live stream to get some work done. And that work is going through the Yokohama release notes. So I think I did a similar thing for Yokohama Store Release 1. Hey, Jace is here. What's up, Jace? I got my comment thing working. We can see your picture and everything. How's that? Glad to have you. I was saying, I think I did something similar for Yokohama Store Release 1 and kind of gave a little bit of background. So I'll do the same here and kind of give a background. But when I stopped being an instance owner of ServiceNow and moved into the space of now I'm like a ServiceNow subject matter expert, and I need to understand like what's new out there so that when people are saying, can you do this in ServiceNow or is this possible in ServiceNow? I needed to do a good job of staying up to date. And while there's training from ServiceNow around like certified system administrator and various other trainings, there's nothing that really kind of, even the deltas themselves that ServiceNow puts out there, they're kind of like, 20 possible things that you might answer and go look in the documentation site for the answers. But there is so much packed in these releases. I realized I needed a way to kind of track, okay, what came out in Xanadu, what came out in Yokohama, what have I already done a video on? What could I potentially do a video on? What do I not understand and need to learn more about? What do I not care about? And then I started kind of aggregating and collecting that information. So it came from a very like, I need to be prepared if someone asks me about a new release and what's out there. And so I built this application, and essentially what it does, I'm on this release tab of my workspace. And simply what it does is it goes and crawls the documentation site from my PDI and looks up and asks for the sitemap indexes from ServiceNow. And there's one sitemap file that contains all the references to all of the sitemap part files. And there's like 200 and some 70 of those or whatever. So each of those sitemap part files, once I have those, then I go through those and just go visit every single URL that has the word Yokohama in it or release names, Xanadu, whatever. And then I pull that into my instance, and that's what you're going to see today. Jason made a comment here. Keeping on top of when features are released is a hot mess. Yeah, it is a hot mess. And, I feel kind of behind, which is why I kind of co-opted my live stream to take care of this because Yokohama released in January. The documentation did. And the documentation, you may not have noticed, but it used to be we could go to docs.servicenow.com, and that was what I was crawling. But if we look, I'm going to pull the browser window down here a little bit so you can see it. They changed the URL between when I crawled for Xanadu and I crawled for Yokohama. So when January came around, of course, the first thing I did was fire up my PDI and say, go crawl it. And it all broke because my URLs were looking for docs.servicenow.com and not how it's structured now. They're redirected to this new one. So I was working on the store apps. I have a job to do, several jobs to do. And so I just got behind, and now I'm finally catching up on Yokohama. So just to give you an idea, and I know I've exposed this in previous videos, but kind of give you an idea, once I've done my crawl, once I've taken it all in, and I have a very manual process, and I'll explain why here in a second, then I'm able to see stuff like you're seeing on the screen here. So how do the features break down by product? All right, what is ServiceNow, putting a lot of their time into? And for me, as a content creator, what's my priority for reviewing them? Now, this is totally arbitrary, which you'll see when we get to processing these. I use the old ServiceNow 100, 200, 300, 400, right? And I use that to prioritize. 100 is important to me, 200 is kind of important, 300, etc. And 500, I'm throwing anything now assist in 500 because it's kind of important, but I can't show you any of it. So, and then on and on. And there's a bunch of like release note landing pages, summary pages, stuff like that. Those are end up in my 999 bucket as far as priority. But it's a priority for me as I go through and looking to make content. I start with the things I care about most. And then I'm also, if you look just behind my head there, I just realized Jace's comment is still on the screen. Sorry, Jace. I didn't mean to leave you up there. Go away, Jace. There you go. Click that twice. Then I'm also looking at video candidates as part of when I'm doing this, what you're going to see today, or I'm doing my actual review, and I'm categorizing what might be a potential video candidate over here on the right-hand side behind my head. Down below that, I can then track, okay, how are the features stacking up by the release? So you can see I'm less than halfway through Yokohama, if it's going to be the same or more than Xanadu. And then I have a Pareto chart kind of showing me the how the features make up percentage of all the features, right? So here we can see with Xanadu that 13% of the features were now platform what? Let me hover that now platform app engine, and then that percentage grows as these bigger buckets are there, and then the last big bucket is like everything that didn't show here on the left hand side. So it's typical Pareto chart, but I'm looking to see kind of 80% of the new features based on volume were sales and order management left, right? So sales and order management, operational technology, etc. Kind of gives me a sense of where ServiceNow is investing their development time. Then I can see, well, I actually used AI to do this. So these categories on the screen here, I sent them off from my PDI to OpenAI and said, I gave it some instructions around, analyze whether this is a new feature, an old or an updated feature, an AI feature, or a deprecated feature. And so I was able to quickly get these categories. Now I don't have 100% confidence that those are 100% accurate, but they're basically, they're good enough for me to get a sense of, hey, there were 627 new features, 377 were updated, 102 were related to AI or machine learning or predictive intelligence, and there were 63 deprecations. Jay says, it'd be very interesting to show which of these features are granted to existing SKUs or current entitlements versus new SKUs. Yeah, it would be interesting to know if that wasn't such a black box of mystery, right? Because, I'm back, on the working with some customers again, and kind of, I'll give you a great example. I was we're getting ready to do some workshops for a customer that's going to do enterprise architecture, and we were making sure that we had all the topics covered in our workshop planning. And I was like, well, the only thing we're missing is the technology portfolio, and there was something else, technology portfolio, and what was it? There was that last thing that was, and then the person I was talking to, I said, "Oh, I think that's in Pro." I was like, "I didn't know there was a standard in Pro for enterprise architecture." And sure enough, it's a it's a feature, but it's in the Pro SKU and not the standard SKU. So I could totally get you, Jace. I wish there was better transparency around the SKUs and pricing in general, right? With ServiceNow, but that's the devil we have to deal with at the moment. But anyway, so I used AI to do this, and then I categorized like, okay, this is the current Xanadu stuff, and then how is that compared to previous releases? Was what these charts down below that, and then because I'm curious about my productivity, I'm kind of tracking how much I'm reviewing these pages, and you can see a little flurry of activity. Is it behind my head? It's kind of behind it, right next to my head. In March, there where I've been reviewing some stuff for Yokohama, which is what we're gonna do today. So let's get to it. Let's actually show you what Yokohama looks like right now. This is not final. This is just what I've reviewed so far. And you can see like GRC is up at the top with IT service management. This will change for sure when I get to the Now platform stuff or App Engine. Or actually, I am seeing a ton of Now Assist stuff in the Yokohama release. So that'll probably change too. And I got a lot to review in the 100 category. Already identified 9 video candidates. I'll take a look at those so you can see where my head's at. Smart assessments. I'm obsessed with these things. Migrate status reports from project portfolio management, confidentiality settings, checklists for project tasks. You could see I'm already seeing some simple things. I'm also tracking like, okay, what do I think the complexity is to make a video out of all this stuff? Again, this is just keeping me organized in content creation. So this is Yokohama so far. 464 features, deprecations, or updates. And then there's that Pareto update so far where we have GRC and IT service management making up, and IT operations management making up the bulk of everything. And then I haven't run any of the AI stuff yet for Yokohama. I'll do that when I'm all done. And what I do is I go put like 20 bucks on my OpenAI account and I run it and then see how much I have left and if I need to put more money in. So that's how I do that. But let's go ahead and get into the meat of what I want to accomplish today. And I just want to move through some more features. So I get out of my workspace view, which I think is important because what I'm about to do would be really painful in a workspace. So if you're a UI person watching or, yeah, watching, I don't know why you would listen to this. If you're a UI person watching, you can see kind of what a workspace can't do when I need to be productive and move through stuff really fast. It is only sorted by last updated, and the way it's sorting, you're going to notice that this is going to change every time I reload the page, and predictive intelligence is going to stay there. I have no idea why, but we'll get to predictive intelligence eventually, or I could just grab it at any time. But essentially, my process is I open the record for that page on the doc site. I have a reference to it here. And the first thing I'm looking at is, okay, this is security operations. It's a landing page. I don't care about this landing page. So immediately I give it my 9999, plug a date in there, update, and I'm done. So those are the easy ones. They get caught up in the crawl when we're looking for Yokohama. I could filter out um, ahead of time or whatever when I see release notes, but I'd rather confirm and make sure rather than doing it automatically. And it makes me feel good when I'm moving through the list. If I remove the last review date here, you'll see there were 276 release note pages that I needed to go through, and I've whittled that down to, what was the number, 168, 163 is what I've whittled it down to from 276. What, a workspace painful? No, really? Yes, really. Now it's a Justin-made workspace, so that's the caveat. I made it, and I'm not great in UI Builder yet. It's one of my goals is to be great in UI Builder, but I still fight with it. Um, and yeah, so one of the things, simple things like insert and stay, update versus save, those things that kind of are part of the classic UI, those don't translate to workspaces. So if you're used to those things to move through records in bulk, which is what you're going to see me do, you just can't do those right now in a workspace. Or if you can, I don't know how, or I haven't taken the time to kind of do it. We got a Rahi retail. What the heck is a Rahi retail? See, this is also another good reason to leave these release note landing pages in. Let's go check out that. Um, Features and change retail. So I don't know what Rahi means, Rahi, but you could see there Rahi retail landing. I don't know what Arahi means. I don't see it up here. But anyways, it's a landing page, and it's for the retail core application. Powers frontline managers to seamlessly manage day-to-day store operations. Okay, I knew this was coming, or I knew this was the thing that had a customer that actually did that. But it's a landing page. We don't care. So I just marked this as 999. Again, I use that ServiceNow prioritization. Oh, another landing page. I'm going to knock out a couple of these. That's the operational technology landing page. It's one of those apps that kind of I'm aware of, but I don't, do a lot with it because I'm not in manufacturing, so it's not as relevant to my particular background. Employee service management, that's the relevant one. Okay, now we got a real one. Sidebar. So sidebar, I'm very interested in. We'll give it a priority of 300, and this is in the conversational interfaces. So associating a product with these, here's what I do. Because it changes every release. ServiceNow is always reorganizing their products. I look to see what this top level value is here. Conversational interfaces release notes. So that gives me my product here. Hopefully I have it. If I don't, yeah, I do. If I don't, I can create the product directly from that. I'll save my record. I've already got the page open, so I'll start a new feature record down here below. And this is where it gets into the repetitive start. So what's new in the Yokohama release for sidebar? It involves exploring sidebar. So this is the manual part, and a lot of people are going to judge me, I know, and say, "Oh my gosh, Justin, why do you put yourself through this?" And there's actually some really good reasons. Number one, I'm kind of exposing myself to exactly what's there. Now, I'm not really reading this, like to understand every single thing I'm putting in here. Otherwise, this would take me forever. But I am, why are these different? Private discussions versus standalone. Okay. And I'm doing stuff like that, like clarifying why they're different. So Control Z, try to get plain text in here without any of those links. And I'll just say here, private discussions, just to differentiate it from the other one. Oh, there's those other fields. So I got the video candidate, I can mark it, the complexity, if I can mark it, when I last reviewed it, because I have a whole other review step I do. We won't do that today. And then if I actually want to create content, I've got a UI action to create a content record, and that'll update this field with a content record, and then off I go into my land of video creation. And these are the categories that the OpenAI was using to categorize exactly what's going on. So you can see I have AI, new, highlight, updated, and deprecated. Haven't thought of any additional categories yet, but I've architected this categorization to be able to scale to more categories than what you're seeing there. So that's a little bit about that form. We'll go ahead and submit that one, prep the next record, check the page, and that was it for sidebar. There was only 3 new features for sidebar, so I can go back, mark this one as reviewed today, update, and I'm back to my list. Again, there's that thing I can't do in a workspace. You can do it. There's just more clicks. It doesn't kind of work the same way. Here's another 999. It's a combined release notes page, which is repetitive, so I just get to mark that one as reviewed. Release note summary, same thing. Of course, when these would come up during the live stream and not the past 3 weeks when I've been going through this. Summary fixes. Sometimes I'll open this one just to like scan through and see what's been fixed. And yeah, so this isn't actually, I'm not going to go read all this stuff. But if you're coming from this version to this version, here's the fixes. Let's say we were coming from Xanadu patch 7 to Yokohama patch 1. And I should be able to see a list of fixes. And I'll just scroll through and see if anything appeals to me. This is, if you can see the scroll bar over here, this is a really, really tiny scroll bar. So there are a lot of fixes in this publication that I'm not have time to read, but that gives you a sense. It's a lot. So if you are, and I know not everybody has everything implemented, but from my perspective, I am interested in everything. I'm not interested in just what I've implemented because I want to find new stuff. I want to find new things. I want to share them with you guys, but definitely don't need to worry about this page in my data collection here. So update that. What's next? Customer service AI machine learning release notes is what that looks like. So I'll give this a 500, like I said, for AI because, and I normally put this under customer service management, but this release I've been checking because they've been moving some stuff under a product called Now Assist or platform intelligence is another word I've seen them use. And this is customer service management. So we can't use customer service management. Customer service management, got that, save. We've already got it open, so we'll start our new record. And let's see what we got here. Lots of stuff. Around recommended actions. So that makes sense that they're getting all that stuff done. And yep, it's pretty tedious, but again, it's exposing me to it. I'm kind of half reading it. If I find something to go down a rabbit hole, I'll go down a rabbit hole, but I try not to because I want to get this content out. Now, if you guys haven't seen already, I'm going to be in Montreal on April, let's see, 22nd, 23rd, April 23rd. I fly there on the 22nd. And I'm going to be talking about all of these features, right? So this is me prepping for my live event, but it's sponsored by a company called Unido. They are flying me up there to have an in-person and talk about what's new in Yokohama, kind of give the inside insights. So my goal here is to find stuff like something that's been deprecated that we weren't expecting, or that kind of tells us where they're headed with the product, and kind of glean some of those insights from what I'm reading here. Machine learning, predictive intelligence, I don't know. I think it's all helpful stuff, but it's not really my niche of where I get excited about things. I think I heard a comment come in. That works. This works, and that's what matters. Yeah, it does. And I could totally automate this, Chase. You know that. I could plug this in. Why do I always double click you? I could have a scraper come here and take a robot, right? Do the same thing, copy paste, or do it programmatically with an API. And that's great, but that just means I'm not going to look at the release notes because the machine did it for me. And if I don't look at the release notes, then I didn't learn anything. And this is actually forcing me to learn something. So even though it doesn't look like I am, I actually am. Sometimes like I'll be in a workshop or in with a customer or talking to a colleague, and something will come up and they'll be like, hey, do you think you could do this in customer service management recommended actions? And I'll be like, you know what, I was doing the Yokohama live stream and I remember seeing some stuff about recommended actions in customer service. Let's go to my database real quick and check. And it's stuff like that, little moments where you don't know, you're not retaining the knowledge for the purpose of retaining the knowledge and be able to recite it back to somebody, but you're retaining it as like a tickler is the only way I can explain it, where it's like, I know I've seen that before. I had a different example. These are just landing pages, if you're wondering. I had a different example from my SSH stuff where some application, I think it was a physical security application, came out from ServiceNow and didn't pay attention to it, but put it in the show, did everything. And right, like maybe a week later, less than a week later, a customer is like, okay, we just did this. Now, do you have anything for our physical security team? I'm like, well, it just so happens I saw an app from the innovation lab for physical security in ServiceNow. So it's little moments like that. Okay, Jay said something again. It's crazy how you pack in the bookmark or index that the information exists and you can find it. Yeah, yeah, and my index, to Jace's point, um, if I had like if I have one of those moments, right? So we're in where's Jace? We're in the release note pages right here. Is what I'm the table that I'm looking at. But what we're creating in this related list is a list of features. So I have a different list of features. And so when I have one of those moments and I'm like, okay, I remember seeing something about security, I could just go search the feature name, browse for things security, and say, oh, I meant to look for Utah, so I'll show matching on Utah. Okay, there's all the stuff that has security for Utah. You can't do that on the doc site. I mean, you're going to have to use their search functionality, and I don't understand that search functionality at all. Like, it doesn't work like Google. Like, if I put things in quotation marks, it doesn't mean it just searches for that phrase. And I haven't used the Chat GPT feature in there yet. But yeah, it's little things like that that just make me more productive. All right, we were doing supplier lifecycle, and man, I do not care a lot about supplier lifecycle. This is under source to pay. Let's go confirm that's what they're still calling it. Yeah, source to pay. I haven't done source to pay yet. Oh, we got some strong opinion. Yes, you cannot do that on docs, says Jace, and the docs is awful. Yeah, it's even more awful. I don't know if you've seen this message at the top. I'm getting this like all the time, this access denied, especially when I fail over my network. Having some stability issues here recently, so I'll fail over the network to my backup, and then I can't get to any doc sites until I purge my DNS everywhere. But they're saying it's because of multiple tabs is their excuse for the access denied errors, which is crazy to me. Like, are we still having this issue ServiceNow with? Because I'm assuming they're using ServiceNow as the backend. I have a reason for assuming that. Are we still having this issue like with multiple tabs in ServiceNow? Um, you brought it up months ago. Yeah, it's like I know they're doing a lot to kind of get out in front of with the workspaces and everything, but even then, the workspaces sometimes, like you click on something and boom, it opens a new tab, and it's like, well, ServiceNow tells you shouldn't do new tabs, yet they're doing it in their own products. So, okay, I pay for a VPN too. Does that work? Does it? So if I hop on VPN, so maybe it'll happen and I can try it. I've got ExpressVPN. That's the one I use, and maybe if that happens today, we can try it. I'm less worried this week about my PDI messing up because I'm not in the same PDI as I do most of the Wednesday live streams from. So we should be okay from that regard. Sometimes there's important stuff here. You'll see some stuff about deprecations, or they'll put here at the top, this is the new application in Yokohama. So I'm scanning a little bit for something like that, but mostly what I need is down here in the new change, UI changes, and deprecation sections on those nodes. So looks like this is another now assist one. I'm telling you, someone was basically asking Justin, what's your initial take on Yokohama? And I'm like, it's now assist everywhere. Like they did now assist in like the most popular apps on the first iteration of it, but then man, with Yokohama, it's like now assist is almost on every release note page. All right, this is interesting. The supplier manager workspace is being prepared for future deprecation. So source to pay workspace provides the latest experience for this functionality. So that's news. Um, that if people were using that, now they're going to be using a new workspace. It's kind of a video candidate, so I'll just go ahead and mark that as reviewed. That was the last one, so we'll go ahead and mark the whole release note page as reviewed, and then we're off to our next one. SecOps. I do like SecOps. This is for the application vulnerability response, which I don't know. We'll give it a 400. It is in security operations. I'm pretty sure they haven't changed that. And the reason that I love vulnerability response, but I haven't gotten much into the application vulnerability response because it's so niche, and there's a lot going on there. That's the highlights, important information for upgrading, new features on vulnerability response. Okay, nothing really major there. Um, it's a kind of a niche application in that you need the the engines or the software that identifies vulnerabilities within applications, and that's all kind of enterprisey software that's expensive, and I'm not developing software, so it's one of those that you got to jump through a lot of hoops, and maybe even have like a lab environment to do some of this, but we still collect the features in the database anyway. Penetration test workspace. Some of these have interesting names. I mean, I understand what pen testing is, but it's just I don't know, to Justin's 12-year-old brain, that's an odd name for a workspace. Let's scroll down here. Enhancements to penetration test. You'll see me too, like, you notice when I did these, I copy paste the whole thing. But when there's business like this with bullets and tables, I copy paste the title first. Penetration test workspace, and then I'll grab that text below. It's a copy paste thing. Could be my Mac, could be Mac and Windows. I don't know. I'm just used to it. I hate it when it does that. Submit. And let's see what else. Enhancements to penetration test assessment requests. Ooh, I wonder if they're using smart assessments. Probably not. This is a long one. I think so. Yeah. Gotta be careful I don't count that incorrectly. Oh, let me show you something else too. So I mentioned earlier that I send this off to OpenAI for that categorization, which is great. That's less stuff I have to do and less I have to touch all these features. And but I also want to know why it thought that this was a deprecation or a new feature. So in addition to giving me the category, I have the OpenAI send me back an explanation of why it thought this particular feature. So if I'm coming in there, I'm like, why is this categorized as AI? You know, this has nothing to do with AI, and I can read it what it thinks and be like, oh, you're wrong, and I can fix it. So you got to hope that I'm preaching to the choir here. With AI, you can't trust everything. There's always some, at least right now, in March or in April of 2025, you should be double checking anything you get from it. Let's see. Enhancements to this SBOM workspace, software bill of materials workspace. I like saying SBOM whenever I can. Look, it's from the software bill of materials SBOM workspace. So somebody else likes saying SBOM too. Submit new and view risk score details of vulnerable items in the work notes section. Man, if I got a story about scores and smart assessments, really. The smart assessment functionality that came out a couple releases ago, in Yokohama, they released scoring, or it might have been just before Yokohama, and which is great, but the scores are at a different table than the actual assessment instance. And it just blows my mind. Come on, why? Why would I not want to see the score when I'm looking at the assessment instance to know what the total score was? But nope, it's not. There's probably a great reason. It's just weird to me. I'd love to see the hierarchy of this and mess with the data you've gathered here. Well, man, I can export all this. It's definitely not my data. I'm grabbing it from ServiceNow site. But I have been trying to think too, Jace, about what other insights could I glean from the efforts of collecting this data. I got a tickle in my throat. So happy to share it, but also happy to hear ideas too, because I know everybody kind of sees things differently. which is great. This happens sometimes, and then I got to figure out why. Let's see. This is looking for sales and order management, quote management, release notes. So, because if it doesn't work the first time, try it again, Justin. We will go try to find that page. And sales and order management is the application. Sales and order management. And actually, nope, I didn't want to go there. I went the wrong place. Yokohama is where I want to go. Release notes for upgrading from Xanadu, and then we're looking for features and change by product, and then we're looking for sales and order management here on the left. Sales and order management, and there is no quote management. Lead, opportunity, product catalog, and sales agreement. So it's interesting that it's in the sitemap, and it is Yokohama, but they've removed the page. Um, let's make sure. Lead management, opportunity management, product catalog management, sales agreement. So there is no quote management. Interesting. So we'll mark this as reviewed, and I'll give it a 999, but I am going to put it in its proper product, even though it's a 999, because it may come back to life. So why would I care about that? So in May, there's going to be store release 2 for Yokohama. And when store release 2 happens, I will recrawl the doc site again because they'll update the documentation. In fact, when we look at some of this documentation, you're going to see that some of it even says Yokohama release 1, like they're already readying the documentation for different stuff. Yeah, Chase, we should chat all the time. You and I, Chase and I, when we chat, it's just like idea, and then we go off and do our own thing. It's fun. I get a lot of energy from Chase. This is why I might consider extracting the HTML. Yeah, I'm sure programmatically there's probably some cool stuff. Again, my goal here is to learn a little bit of the actual content. So, but I can see an argument for doing that. Opportunity release management. This is still sales and order management. So we'll give this again. I don't really care about this app. I would have in my last job where I was working in pre-sales, but now I don't really care about opportunity management so much. So new, view the roll-up amount in the opportunity Kanban view. Well, what's a Kanban? Now that's another thing I like to see is like, what are other apps doing? Like integrated risk management and smart assessments. What are other apps doing that might be useful in different applications? So here we've got a Kanban. Well, there's lots of places that might benefit from a Kanban. So, and that was it for this one, just the Kanban. So that was the only feature for this one. So we'll go back, mark it as reviewed, update, perfect. Okay, service portal. You know, this is one we're all kind of like waiting. What's going to happen with the service portal? And I believe the last UI builder video I watched, he's like, it is going to change eventually, but not anytime within the next like 4 releases. So service portal is still interesting then. Analyze the performance of portal pages and their widgets. Well, that sounds helpful. I'm going to give this a 200. And this is the Now Platform User Interface. Let's say that here. Now Platform User Interface is correct. I think I just put those under Now. Nope, I have it. Now Platform UI. Save. And we make a new feature record. Yeah, performance measurements are good, especially in the portal where if you don't do things a certain way, you can actually see some issues, permissions and stuff like that. Compare a cloned widget with a space widget. Well, that's nifty. I try not to mess around with portal stuff because it's not my strength. Use ECMAScript 2021, JavaScript mode, and server scripts for widgets. That sounds like something Jace would think is cool. Sorry to pick on you, Jace, if you're still there. I think of Jace as like the hardcore programmer, and I'm like a hybrid where I don't want to program if I don't have to, but I can do it if I need to. And Jace is more like, I'm going to do it because I can. Define roles. Improved redirection for single sign-on authentication. Well, that's great. The other thing too, when you go through these, is you realize like how complex and broad-reaching this platform is. Like, there's just so many niche areas. like security wise too. There's just some crazy stuff. Like you're like, oh yeah, I would never thought they'd have to worry about what type of encryption just got hacked and is no longer secure, and so we have to switch over to this different kind of encryption. And a day to day for an admin, like that never really comes up. But when you go through these release notes really thoroughly, you'll see it. Cross scope privileges. Let's see. I would think ECMAScript 2021 would be cool if it worked. Oh, you don't like so the actual um, what do you call that? The standard is actually not. It's still not perfect yet. Is that what you're saying? Or is it because of ServiceNow's implementation of it? He thinks it would be cool if it worked consistently in all the places. Oh, like in all the places in the platform? Got it. Oh, looks like Jerry and Justin are here. Hey, Jerry. And if Justin's with you, hi, Justin. Glad to have you. We're in the middle of our service portal release notes. Let's see. Varshith says, right, but client are looking to have all the expertise. Yeah, exactly right. That's, the kind of position I'm in, being on the implementation side of things, is that they're looking, clients are looking to you to if you don't know the answer, you should be able to find the answer faster than they can, right? That's kind of how. Oh, and there's a great, sorry. So I told you earlier, if you were listening, that I suspect that the back end of this doc site is ServiceNow, and the reason I believe that is this right here. ServiceNow has this app called Sitemap Generator, and when I went and looked at how the sitemap generator works, it works almost identical to the sitemaps that are on the site. So either that's a standard and there is no relationship, or they're using their own sitemap generator to generate the sitemaps for the doc site. Is what I suspect. So, all right, that was Service Portal. Ooh, got something else from Jace here. ECMAScript 2021 is not featureful. It's missing features. Also, it's not available in all the places. Things like conditions for business rules. Yeah, I thought that's what you were getting at. Yeah, they seem to be, like you saw there with the service portal, they're kind of bringing ECMA 2021 to that. So yeah, gotcha. Missing features. So does that mean like the ECMAScript 2021 standard has features that ServiceNow just hasn't implemented? I think that's what you might be saying. Data management for CSM. Now, sometimes I like run into products that I didn't know existed. I think I know what data management was, but Jay says, okay, good. He's pretty sure Docs is using Zoom In and not ServiceNow, so I might be very wrong about the back end of the Doc site. I thought Zoom In was like a marketing thing. Let's see, Jerry. Me and Atul will be talking through the product documentation this weekend, so that sitemap is a useful tip. Oh yeah, Jerry. If you're, let me bring the browser window down here. So if you go to, let me show you the structure here. If you go to servicenow.com/docs/sitemap.xml, this will give you the 273 or 262 sitemap parts. And if you open up any one of these sitemap parts, let's open up a new one, a newer one. So we'll just highlight this URL, right click, go to that page. That sitemap part will be full, as you can see, of, and it's rendering the XML so you can't actually see it. Can I view? Well, it's not important, but basically it lists every single page as part of this sitemap part file. And actually, that you can see, I just saw it there. This Yokohama source to pay operations concept query parameters used for legal entity, last updated on February 12th, and they say they updated daily with a priority of 5. Those are the individual records I'm pulling down into my instance. So sitemap.xml, and that'll get you going with the REST area. So that's cool. Are you guys doing that live, or is that on your podcast? Because I know you guys. I wake up every Monday and see that I missed your podcast or your live stream. So yeah, that was a cool to show. All right, data management for CSM. What do we got here? Naming customer relationship records. Interesting. So we'll go ahead. CSM, I care a lot about it because it's so widely used that if I don't make sure I review that first, I'm going to be behind. Ooh, Jerry's doing it live. Let's give Jerry a plug. Jerry, when can they find you live? Give me your time in UTC if you can. Saturday mornings, British Standard Time. It's Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. Jerry's got a live stream, and they're going to be talking about documentation this weekend. So if you guys are interested, Jerry's a great guy. He reached out to me, and we had a little conversation and talked about ServiceNow. And he's been coming on my live streams, which is cool. And his son's name is Justin. So hope that's okay. I said that. So check him out. Check out Jerry, Saturday, 7 a.m. Got something from Varshith here. I'm going to have to. Ooh, it just shows funny on the screen. Let's see if I can fix that. Nope, that didn't fix it. Okay, I'm going to read the whole thing. This is from Varshith on LinkedIn. I'm curious to know the adoption rate of workspaces. While support agents seem to appreciate workspaces, the rest of the business teams feels overwhelmed by the amount of information and prefers the form views. I recently came across a LinkedIn post that mentioned creating a UI action to switch from a form view to a workspace. Yeah, in fact, I was working on that with a colleague last week. I have to check with them if finished or not. But there's two UI actions that we're seeing a lot of: is switch to classic view from the workspace and switch to workspace view from the classic form view. To answer your question about adoption, Justin, what I'm seeing is poor adoption of workspaces. I love workspaces, but uh, they're very top. How do I want to say? Like if you're coming in to do some basic tasks, some basic things, workspaces are great. If you're coming in to do something like I'm doing right now, workspaces just don't cut it. I cannot move through these features as fast as I am that you're seeing right now in a workspace. It'd be slow. There's some rendering issues. For example, in my workspace, URLs don't show up on some of the records that I have in there. So like when I'm sitting there double clicking or right clicking a URL and doing stuff, I can't do some of that from a workspace. And now that could be me. I don't know everything, of course, but it could be the product. It could be my lack of knowledge or my lack of testing. But got to catch up on comments here. Thanks, Justin. Oh yeah, Jerry, no problem, man. Want to support the community. Varsheth, link please. A link to, where do you want to link to? Oh, a link to the Jerry. I think he's talking to you. Link to the live stream. Um, how can I do that? I could put that link, Jerry, after the live stream in the comments since it came up, and I'll do that. I'll put that in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description, or you can add it to the comments. I think you can put it in the comments too. All right, that kind of information, usage of feature by percentage of customers. Oh yes, yes. Jason and I were talking about that. Store apps, like how many people are downloading store apps, stuff like that would be interesting. Workspaces. I want to say one more thing about workspaces. The 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 positive side of workspaces is what's happening under the covers, the the UI, and that's the data handling. So the retrieval and reusage of retrieved data is handled much better in workspaces than it is a classic UI. So I think from a performant, system platform performance view, workspaces are definitely a plus. But there's so much development and iteration going on right now in the workspaces, like the feature creep, if you can call it that, it's just so fast right now that it's overwhelming, like you said, to the users. So yeah. Jerry posted the link. Oh, that looks horrible when I clicked on it. But thank you, Jerry. Let's see. Oh, Jace finished his comment. That kind of information is not something ServiceNow shares anywhere. I haven't found a good way to track it. Yeah, and I feel like I want to do something at Knowledge. And maybe this is one of them, Jace, where we can have like some basic things that we're curious about and like put it on a now mobile app or something and be like walking around and people, hey, can you take our quick survey? If they have a badge. I've been trying to think through ideas like that to make Knowledge more fun. Also, tracking that kind of usage information may not be easily tracked. True. I think it's going to be more anecdotal. Um, there is the user experience analytics, Varshith and Jace. I personally turned off in my PDIs because it's just collecting useless data. But I wonder if there's something in there, at least in your instance, you can get a sense of, if people are using workspaces or not. I think that might be in there. Varsha says, I love playbooks, and I'm currently implementing them. Can anyone confirm if I could apply playbooks in the form view? doesn't need to have an exact design like the workspace. I've never tried it in the form view. I've only been exposed to playbooks, me, Justin, in the workspace view. But I'll let somebody else comment if they know that can be done in the classic UI or UI 16. K25 is a good opportunity to know the adoption rate. Yeah, I agree. Are you going to be there, Varsheth? Are you coming to Knowledge? Let's see. Did I create that one already? I think I did. Ordering customer relationship records. I could do this for hours. Talk to you guys and populate my features. It's kind of fun having an audience for something that I usually do from my living room chair while I'm watching, White Lotus or something. All right, we got a response to Varshith. Varshith is coming to Knowledge 25, so if you want to see him there, keep a lookout. I'll be there as well. Jace will be there as well. I think he said that in the previous one. To the playbook question, Jace says you can open it in the portal and iframe it in at least according to Lisa Holstein when I spoke with her at K24. Jerry, you're coming to Knowledge too. Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you there too. That'll be fun to meet you in real life or in person and in the same time zone. It's funny with ServiceNow, a lot of the connections we make, we're all over the world. So sometimes it's hard to like sync up. It wasn't hard to sync up with Jerry, but I've got a couple people in India, a couple people in uh, Western Europe. I think I'm saying that right. So there's just like finding time to meet and stuff like that. Knowledge is great for kind of bringing everybody into the same time zone. Um, I can't remember where I was. Did I already do that one? What happens when I'm talking? Yes, I already did that one. Okay. Subscription metrics for sold products. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, going through this, you just realize the breadth and scope of everything that's in ServiceNow and where applications cross over too. So here I'm doing one on customer service management and strategic portfolio management. One of my favorite crossovers because it makes perfect sense, especially if you're a ServiceNow implementer. You can use customer service management to manage your customers, but then you can use strategic portfolio management to manage your implementation, which I think is brilliant. Just one example. Enhanced data fields for business locations. That sounds interesting. Staff movement between internal business locations. Let's see. Company-owned, third-party operated business locations. See, and you also realize how complex other companies are too, and how they're set up. Jerry says he was arriving on the Sunday afternoon with 10-hour flight. Oh, 10 hours. Man, I thought my 4+ hours was awful. I can't imagine sitting still for 10 hours. I'm a very active person, and the thought of sitting still for so long, just, I don't know. I'm going to get like what do you call those? A blood clot in my legs or something. That'd be what I'd be worried about. Not wishing anything bad on you, Jerry. Sorry, didn't mean to put that out in the universe. No blood clots for you. That is a long time. Is it broken up by like layovers? Like, do you have like, or is that just a straight 10-hour flight from? I guess you're in London, right? It might be in another city in the UK, but I can't remember. Sorry. This is a long one. This is the longest one we've had so far. Specification class on product inventory related list. Jerry says he's leaving on the Saturday morning time, and it's a direct flight. Okay, got it. Well, at least you're lucky in that you just get the 10 hours over with. Manchester, so Jerry's coming from Manchester. Nice. I thought it was like Manchester's there's a sports thing, a soccer, football, um, uh, not soccer, yeah, football. There's a stadium there, I think, and then there's a school, right? Isn't there a big school or university in Manchester? I think there is, because I think you worked at the school. If I remember our conversation, or worked somehow related to it. That's how you got into ServiceNow, or you're still working there, right? He says he means Sunday morning, not Saturday. I like the chat. It's entertaining. Manchester United. Yes, I knew there was a team um, associated with it. And that is that the Manchester United. There's one that's like a TV show is made off of, but I don't think that's the one. Manchester City Football Club. He says getting into some sports ball on Justin's live stream. Who would have thought that would have happened? Although I'm a very active person, but I don't really get much into sports. The only sport I really watch, he said there is the University of Manchester. Okay, thought there was a university there. The only sport I really watch is swimming if it's on. I think I already did that one. I'll make sure grant right access to account relationships, like the NCAA or the Olympic swimming. I just watch that because it's pretty cool. Diving, I'll watch. Like anything in the Olympics, I'll usually watch. But like basketball, football, soccer, grant right access to account relationships. Grant, yeah, so I did get that one. Anything like team oriented stuff like that, I'm not. I'll watch it if it's like on where I'm at, but I'm not a big consumer of it. I know enough to be dangerous. Not dangerous. I know enough to be able to carry on a conversation most times. I guess is how I should put that. But sometimes I'll get myself in a pickle and be like, oh, they know a lot more than me. So with everybody who's been commenting, if you're all going to knowledge, what do you guys think of Gwen Stefani and the Sphere? I hope that's public knowledge. If not, I'm in big trouble. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm more interested, not that I'm not a fan of Gwen Stefani. I'm more interested in like what a concert would be like in the Sphere, because I've seen videos online and it looks pretty epic, pretty amazing. But to be there, I think would be even more amazing because the videos that are coming out of it are pretty cool. Okay, that's data management for CSM. How many was that? That was 18 features for data management. So that probably brought our number up a lot. Whew. Identity release notes. This is always platform security. Let's just make sure that's still the same product. Yeah, now platform security. Now platform security. Oh, security I do care about. So let's give it a 300. And let's start. Let's see what's new. This is one of the ones where I first started messing around with. Okay, got some special formatting going on here. MFA. I think a couple of releases back. And it's a funny story about that one. When I enabled MFA, somehow I got locked out of my PDI. And I had to Z-boot it or reset it. And that was a pain in the butt. Change in this release, Access Analyzer, assign the AA admin role. What was the rest of that? To users to access and administer the Access Analyzer. I haven't messed around with this yet. Is no one going to the Sphere? I thought like that would generate some comments. I guess not. Give that a space. Submit. Okay, I think we got time for one or two more. Table Builder. Gotta love Table Builder, and that's now Platform App Engine. Let's confirm. Hyper. Oh yeah, so this is one of the big renames I noticed. Everything that was now Platform App Engine, and the reason I'm saying was is you can see in the URL that it built there, it did used to be called now Platform Engine, and on the page itself, I've seen this a couple of times in Yokohama. It's actually Hyper Automation and Low Code Release Notes. So I had to go add that to my product list this time around. I think I did. I think it was this time. I care about Table Builder a lot because I build tables. What is new in Table Builder? UI changes. Transition to now design systems. Shift from the previous custom Table Builder icons to the now design system icons in the. What the hell is the now design system? I have never heard that before. There was also another one I hadn't heard of that I saw the other day called NED, Now Experience Design Tools or something like that. but that's the big feature. So this one, I'm actually going to mark that as a video candidate. I'll keep it as medium complexity because I don't know quite what it is, but I'm interested. So that's another way I'm like, oh, I'm interested in what that is. I'll flag it now while I'm on it. Component release notes. I have no idea what this is. Component release notes. Oh my lord. ServiceNow experience component. Oh, the components that you drag and drop on the UI builder from UI builder. Okay, so this I will consolidate. Actually, did I? Let's go see what I did for Xanadu because I want to make sure I don't do it differently and it affects my feature count. So let's search for Xanadu, and of course I reviewed all those component release notes. There it is for Xanadu. What did I do? I broke it out. So I listed every single one as a changed or updated. So we'll do the same. Just go here. That's wrong. Yokohama. Obviously, I'm not going to finish that before the live stream is over. So let's go ahead. I'm very interested in these components. In fact, my dream thing to do at some point is to load every component into a workspace. There's another one where it says this is now platform app engine product, but they're putting it under next experience components release notes. So that's a new product altogether. Or I missed it in Xanadu, or they've reorganized. Back to Yokohama. Okay, so what did I say that was? I already forgot. Next experience components. Next. Next. Are there no nexts? I don't even have this. So we hit the search icon, hit the new button, and we're going to give this next experience. For each product, I do track the actual page for that product. So we'll just come over here and let's see, do they link to it? Next experience components, because I'm in the release notes section at the moment. So there might be a more next experience component, Horizon sign it. There's a now platform feature that's active by default. Related is UI Builder and Workspace UI. So since I don't see it there, let's go all the way to the top. Let's open a new tab, which the error message at the top says we shouldn't do. And we're going to go to all products. And I should see next experience components, and I don't. I hate when they do this. So I'm going to throw it under now platform UI. That says the next specs thing as far, because these are components as part of the user interface. So let's do that. Drop me a note in the comments if you think I should do a different one, but that's what I'm going to do. And we only got 2 minutes left, so I'm not going to start this table yet, but I'll copy and paste each one of these. So what did change? We've got new, we've got active call, handles phone calls as part of the interaction controls component. Animation, plays Lottie animations. What's a Lottie animation? Lottie files. Download free lightweight animations for website. Powerful web-based Lottie animation tool. File format for vector graphics information. It is named after Charlotte Lottie Renninger, a German pioneer of silhouette animation. Oh, okay, that's cool. Dial pad. Dial a phone number in a workspace. Feedback. Captures feedback from users. Filter group. Flyout menu. Knowledge view. Loader custom. And skeleton loader. Changed in this release: appointment calendars, attachments, avatar, calendar, email composer. Yeah, these guys are busy, man. Data visualizations. So they're adding percent information to the bar, bubble, geomap, templates, dashboards, and bundles, record lists. Okay, that's gonna be a fun release note page to do. But all right, we have reached the end of our live stream. Let's take a look before we go at how the numbers updated. So before we refresh, we were at 464 features in Yokohama, and the rest isn't really important. But let's go ahead and hit the refresh. And we're at 515. We got 100, almost 100 features during the live stream. So thank you guys number one, for watching. Thank you for keeping me entertained by talking to me. It's really helpful. I'm here every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 UTC. Thanks, Varshith. Good to have you. Thank you for engaging and good conversation too. Hopefully, I get to see you at Knowledge. I'm here every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. or 1700 UTC. Topic is undecided for next week. Leave a note in the comments if you're interested in seeing something. Can't make any promises, but you never know. And then after I sign off, there's going to be a little video to play for 5 minutes. There's a QR code. That QR code will take you to all my socials, including LinkedIn and YouTube. So thank you, everybody. I'm out. I've got to go to a meeting. And we'll see everybody soon.